Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, BA'Hashem, YAHAWASHI, BA'Hashem, Rakwak, Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim Wakwafim who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foul captivity. This is Brother Kawak coming at you with no lesson. James chapter 4, verse 15. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. Slakia, bear with me one moment. Alright, Slakia, as I was saying, let's read this again. James chapter 4, verse 15. For that we ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. Okay, so now today's lesson is going to be on doing stuff, if the Lord will, or Yahweh willing, alright, or YAHAWADAH, as I like to say. Okay, well, or if I'm entitled, God will, I don't know, whatever. I'll figure out a title. Anyway. This is a very common practice, all right, but among brothers, or at least I try to incorporate it, all right, because that was something. As a matter of fact, I think I said these anecdotes a few times because they are very near and dear to me, and it shows that there was a point in time where I was, I was still learning, all right, now, which even now I'm still learning. I'm still studying and all that stuff. So I'm not saying I've stopped learning. Anyway, these anecdotes, as I said before, but I will say it today, it's through, number one, the first thing is saying YAHAWADAH before you do things or when you plan stuff out, okay, with brothers and stuff like that, because, you never know. As with the story, let's get that in Luke chapter 12, verse 21. Okay, Luke chapter 12, verse 19. Luke chapter 12, verse 19. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But Yahweh said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? So you have this rich man who you can read up to see more of the context. I encourage that, but basically with what happened was he had a whole bunch of money. He built a bigger storehouse. He had a bunch of food. He had a bunch of wealth. He said, oh man, I'm going to be good for years and years to come. I don't need to work a day again ever in my life. All right. But then, as soon as he was done setting everything up and everything was ready to go, all right, the Lord just made it so that he died. He literally died as soon as he was done thing. So then now he has all these barns, and then no one there to claim it, no one there to use it, no one there to reap the benefits of that and stuff like that. And that's the thing this is the important lesson that you need to take away from this, which is that you may want to do something. You may have plans. Oh, I want to go to Disney World in next year or what, X, Y, and Z. All right, which by the way, if you're planning on going to Disney World, you better cancel those freaking plans next year or this year. All right, in general. All right. Anyway, Slakia, the main thing is in general, all right, where you might want to do something like that. You might want to do something, but the things that you never know what the Lord planned, and you say YAHAWADAH in the sense of may Yahweh allow it to happen. May Yahweh let the circumstances be sufficient or permissible for us to be able to enjoy this plan that we made or I made and whatnot. All right, so Yahweh, that's why it's very important to say YAHAWADAH. And on top of that, it's a very proud thing for you to just assume that you made a plan to tomorrow or 2 years from now or 50 years from now for you to do something, and you actually think that that's going to work out. An example, okay, a real life example of that's very common today is women. Women think that, oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep around with, I'm gonna try to break 1,000 guys before I hit the age of 25 or something like that. All right, and then when I'm done riding the cock carousel, then I'm gonna settle down with some loser. All right, who has money and whatnot. A rich guy is gonna want to marry me, even though I have a body count higher than the population of a small country. All right, so basically, all right, that you make these women all make all these different plans, and it all falls through because they're so proud. They think that they are the prize, not realizing, number one, the statistics in how reverse that is. All right, as well as number two, just the Lord can just make plans fall through. So even not just for women but for men as well. For men, in terms of, you might have some certain things that you want to do, but things don't always work out. What if the Lord makes it so, you had a burn accident and then your face gets fucked up, or you lost your arm and stuff like that? All these things could potentially happen simply because of your arrogance, your pride, simply because something just happened. All right, and these are the things that we need to remember, that you can't be testing the Lord. We can't be going against the Lord YAHAWAH ba'Hashem YAHAWASHI. All right. So as a result of that, this is why it's very important to say YAHAWADAH, what I say YAHAWADAH, or the Lord, or Lord willing. I like to say Lord willing, and that is a common practice among, I believe, the Muslims as well, which respect to them on actually saying that. Now bear with me one moment. I need to do one last thing. All right, Slacky. So yeah, basically, and that's another thing. Okay, as I was saying, that was another thing where, you have all these different things. You have all these different things where, you might be planning some stuff. Okay, you might think, oh yeah, I'm good. I have all this thing. I got money. Nothing can stand in my way. And you have these people, especially this generation. I don't know what generation it's called, Gen Z or millennials, whatever. I really don't know their years or stuff like that, but in terms of the generations and stuff like that, they feel like they're invincible. They feel like their world revolves around them. There was something called a main character syndrome, where they think that they're the main characters of everything, and they think that the world revolves around them. And as a result of that, they are completely disregarding of other people's situations and the people around them, and they think that everything just needs to, and they think that their struggle, their lives are the only thing of importance, so they treat the people around them like garbage. All right, which ends up making people hate them. Okay, because of this whole main character syndrome and the terrible way that people treat each other. All right, so yeah, you have these different things. You have all this stuff that's going on, and as a result of that, oftentimes the Lord really does humble them, and it is, I will say, it is nice to see it. I have had a small period of time where I would actually, watch some YouTube videos, not streams, but YouTube videos where some obnoxious kid gets punched by some bodybuilder dude for bothering his kids or something like that, or some shit like that, basically. And those are the things that, again, guilty pleasure, kind of funny to see. I'm happy to see people get humbled. All right, but it's just like, it also goes to show you, like, you should remember the Lord. Not for them, but for us, we should remember the Lord, because those instances can easily be us, and 10 times worse. All right. And that reminds me of another instance. Okay. So one time, I was doing something. I was trying my best in some sort of competition. All right. And I won the competition. And as soon as I won the competition, I was like, yeah, I was like flexing all this stuff, like saying a bunch of dumb shit. And I was like, yeah, that's all me. That's all me. And then a brother had told me, hey, no, calm your ass down. That's YAHAWAH and then and then like the realization hit me. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. Like that's wrong. And I felt so embarrassed. I genuinely felt embarrassed that I actually was like, I was talking like that. I was genuinely like talking that way and thinking like, oh yeah, that's on me. That's on me. I was obviously I wasn't thinking, but I was happy that I had won. But the celebration of the competition that I had just won just was cut short, and it was ruined, not because the brother humbled me down by saying that, but because of my own embarrassment, that I needed to be reminded not to be talking that way in the first place. So I appreciate that the brother did say that to me. I didn't make him. I didn't say, "Oh man, why did you ruin my thing?" I just do it. I didn't mean no. I take that very seriously. All right, even though I said it, even though I literally those words literally came out of my mouth, I still take that seriously. And the fact that he told me that, I definitely appreciate it. And that's when you have to have brothers like that to tell you, like, what, don't be saying that type of stuff. You can't. That's wrong. All right. Even if it's just a joke, even if it's not seriously, that should not be coming out of your mouth, because that stuff turns into a habit. All right. And then it could potentially end up ruining you for it. And you don't want to be rude. You don't want to fall out simply because of something so small and minuscule. But that's the thing though about this society. People like that, they always try to downplay and think that stuff like that is not serious, when it genuinely is. It is a serious thing. It is an important thing to remember that, yes, we need to remember YAHAWAH at all times. We have to remember him in our good times, especially our good times. And that's the thing, even though it might seem like, oh yeah, I won that competition on my own, X, Y, and Z, but no, that was the reality of it. The Lord was the one that helped me. The Lord was the one that gave me the capabilities to be able to make it that far, to actually win the competition. I don't even remember the freaking competition or anything like that, and stuff like that. The Lord gave me the opportunity to win and stuff like that. I barely remember. Because Slakia, the thing is that moment, while I remember winning, I don't remember all the actual details that led up to it. And, that's how you know. That's how you know. That's how you know. Like that stuff actually stuck to me. That's how you know. That's how important this is to me. All right, YAHAWAH and not disrespecting YAHAWAH was very important to me. That's why I changed, and I appreciate that, having that spirit in me to be able to do it. But lots of people, they don't take correction in that same way. If you try to tell a brother, oh, you messed up, you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have done this, they're gonna get mad. Like, hey, man, what the fuck are you trying to do? Who are you talking to, man? Like, you can't be telling me to do X, Y, and Z, man. Shut the fuck up, bro. Like, all this type of shit, this false pseudo masculine shit. All right, like, people. And again, I wholeheartedly blame the Esau society. All right, the Babylonian society, which has ruined people. Okay, you can't even talk kindly to your brother, especially to my memory. What's it called? Southern Kingdom. I was about to say Northern Kingdom. Southern Kingdom. All right, Judah. All right, Judah is like crazy. You had so many Jakes are just batshit insane, and that's not to take away from the batshit craziness of Northern Kingdom. They are they are crazy too. They can be evil as well. But just for what I know, it's not no pretty. It's not pretty. Anyway, continuing on. Let's get this. Isaiah 46 verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Okay, so the end is already written down. Everything that we are that we're going to do, all right. In 2026, whatever. I'm gonna have to deal with freaking Jacob's trouble and XYZ or whatever. Because I'm not saying that Jacob's trouble is 2026, but Lord willing, Yahawadah, it's 2025 or 2026. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that all the stuff that is going to happen, the Lord already knows. Okay, and as a result of that, the Lord also sees our growth. Okay, He sees all the stepping stones, all the obstacles that we push through to better ourselves into being these improved versions of ourselves. All right. Matthew chapter 26 verse. Actually, let me get this first, because I appreciate that brother that had corrected me. Brother Aria, let me get this. What was it? Matthew chapter 18 verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Okay, so if someone, and it's not just because I didn't trespass against him, I trespassed against YAHAWASHI. Okay, so because I did something, I'm just saying I did something wrong. Because I did something wrong. All right, he told me, just between me and him, hey, don't say that, don't do that. And you're like, oh, I realized that. I was like, okay, you know what, yeah. And then I was fine with that. Again, there was so many different ways that could have happened. I could have just said you're being too sensitive about it. I could have said it was just a competition. The Lord's not in no competition, or it's just this, it's just that. Or I could have made a whole bunch of plethora of different silly excuses, all right, as to why it wasn't a big deal and why I didn't actually mean that. Because even then, I'm pretty sure, even as I was doing it, even as I was showboating and whatever and being happy, I wasn't thinking properly, and I still did not think that that was all of my own thing. But just the simple fact that I said it was enough for him to say something. And I do take that seriously. I do take the fact that I simply said it seriously. All right. So the Lord, and this is, again, I'm repeating myself, but it is very important that I stress the importance of acknowledging the Lord's will. This is the Lord's will. It was the Lord's will that I won that competition. It was the Lord's will that I acknowledge it. It was the Lord's will that He put the spirit of being of humbleness, of meekness, to be able to be corrected in the first place. Okay, so this is why these are the things that I really need to take note of and be aware of. You don't just say, oh, it's fine, oh, I'm good, I'm just gonna keep on doing whatever, or say, like, in Slocky, that's the thing, really, because oftentimes when I'm telling people something, not brothers, okay, not brothers are usually, I'll say keyword usually, very receptive to correction. But whenever I'm telling someone in the world, if I have to deal with them, they literally do not care. Okay, they do not care. They will keep on going and doing, say, oh, you're being too sensitive, I don't care, just shut up, whatever, XYZ, and dismiss me. And then after something bad happens, then they're going to be like, shocked Pikachu face and like, oh my God, who could have saw this coming? You know, all right, like it's just like it's like I literally tell them, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, and then they don't. No one cares. All right, and through my experiences, you know, it just the brothers tend to be more receptive. Okay, you know, as I've been corrected by brothers plenty of times, and I never really. I don't think any brother has ever had an issue with me, for the most part, while I was in this truth specifically, taking correction about this truth. All right. Continuing on, we already read this. Matthew 26 verse 39, and he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt." So this is another example where Yahawashi was basically saying, you know, I really don't want to be crucified. All right. So if it be your will, specifically Yahawashi will, let this pass. And you know, that's the thing where Yahawashi is showing us the example that yes, we might want something, we might want to do something, we might want things to be a certain way that benefits us, but sometimes it can't always be that way. You know, that's something that we need to have. We have to acknowledge, or we have to accept. All right, it's not always going to be that way for us. So you know, it's a trial, it's a tribulation. But it's a trial and it's a tribulation. But you know, Yahawadah, Lord willing, all right, we're able to, you know, humble down and actually take the correction, all right, and as well as accept whatever bad that comes our way, if it is the Lord's will, or the Lord might surprise us and say, okay, actually, you don't need to go through that, all right. But of course, it's dependent on each individual. Proverbs 20 verse 24, man's going out of the Lord, how can a man then understand his way? The Lord is the one who put us on the paths we're on right now. So we just have to wait for the Lord to say and to set things up for us, okay? Because you know, we might say, okay, yeah, I want to go this way, and you might be on that path, all right, but the Lord is the one that set it up, be it a good path or a bad path, all right, for you to be destroyed or to be delivered, all right. It's all dependent on you. No, not necessarily you, on what the Lord has in store for you specifically. And even then, again, it's all this stuff. This is what the Lord. This is the path that the Lord set up. It's like for example, it's like think of a video game. All right, these video games today, like a lot of these video games, they have a set path. They only have one story. All right, there's no branching off. You can't. There's not a lot of them don't really have branching off. It's really just one thing, and you can't change what the ending is going to be. So as a result of that, this is that one ending. This is the one thing, and there's nothing else beyond that, which is the same thing with our lives in general. All right. Well, we're doing all this stuff. We might be entertaining it, but it's like we are still going to that one same generic ending that cannot be changed. Anyway, continuing on, Proverbs 3 verse 5, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. And once again, you know, it's all the Lord's will. And if you are trying your best to follow after Yahawadah, then that's when you shouldn't really be worried about all these extra stuff, all this all these different things gonna get in the way, like X, Y, and Z. If the Lord tells you to do something, you know, that's when if the Lord is guiding you on the path to do a certain thing, then that's the thing you have to do. That's the thing that you have to focus on. So with that, I pray this was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawadah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Wakwak, Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, Abba, and Shalom.